Hey guys, today I am participating in Call Me Crafty Al's 20 Crafty Questions Tag. It's very hard to say. I hope after you watch this video and learn a little bit more about me, you will be interested in checking out the other participants in this tag. You can click on the tag 20 Crafty Questions with Crafty Al. That's also hard to say. Or you can just click on the playlist, which will be linked below in the description. And also, if you want to participate, there are instructions on how to do that in the description as well. So let's get into the questions. My YouTube channel started because I initially had an Instagram that was about bullet journaling. That's how I kind of got into paper crafting, or I guess sort of kind of back into paper crafting. I'll go into that later. Basically, I got into bullet journaling. I saw it as sort of a creative outlet. I saw people doing creative things in their bullet journals, and so I wanted to share my bullet journal as well, and I was originally doing that on my personal account, and then I decided that like most of the people that followed me on my personal account really didn't care about my bullet journal, so I made a separate Instagram account. That account was initially called Canadian.bujo. Bujo is the short form for bullet journal, because I wanted people to know that I'm Canadian, because let's face it, the majority of people on the internet tend to be American, and it's always nice to see another Canadian, so I wanted to put that right in there. And then it came out that Ryder Carroll, who invented the bullet journal system, was copywriting the term bullet journal and copywriting the term Bujo. I then changed my screen name to Canadian Journal Junkie, and then I started a YouTube channel with that name, Canadian Journal Junkie, because I wanted to do some flip-throughs of my bullet journal, and I didn't think I could do one properly, the length of time that Instagram allows videos for. So I started the channel with that goal. I only ever did, I think, a handful of bullet journal videos, because I started to watch haul videos, and I started to be like, I want to do that too. That looks like fun. And so I started to do, I think my first video, if not my first couple of videos on this channel, were doing like Dollarama hauls, Michael's hauls, that kind of thing. So it basically, I slowly morphed from what I was expecting the channel to be, which was bullet journaling, into haul videos and a little bit of bullet journaling. And then as a result of both bullet journaling and getting more into the crafty aspect of that, and then buying tons of craft supplies, I started looking at other ways to use these craft supplies, and that's what got me into paper crafting. So I started to shift away from the bullet journaling into other paper crafting. So I've been wanting to change my screen name for a while. I think I started talking about it like a year plus ago. I should change my screen name. I rarely do bullet journal videos anymore, and I really struggled with what to change it to, because everybody knew me as Canadian Journal Junkie, so I didn't want to do the thing where somebody completely changes their name and you're following them on Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and you're like, who the hell is this? That's happened. I've had several accounts that I follow on Instagram on my Canadian Paper Junkie account that they have changed the name, the focus, everything of their account, and I'm like, I have no idea who you are. So I didn't want to change my name entirely, but I didn't know what, I knew I wanted to do Canadian something junkie. I figured if I just change the middle word, people that follow me will still know it's me, but it will be more representative of what I do on the channel. And I struggled for a long time, and then finally, I was watching a Totally Tiffany video, where she does a lot of organizational stuff, and she has organizational products. And she was organizing, I think, paper scraps or something, and she referred to herself as a paper junkie, and my brain went, click, that's the new name, because that encompasses paper crafting, it encompasses journaling with a few videos that I do have, and if I ever do some more, it encompasses some of the stuff that I have hauled, because I've hauled paper crafting items, and I was just like, okay, that's the name. So that's what I did. I changed it from Canadian Journal Junkie to Canadian Paper Junkie. I'm happy with it. It shortened the name by about that much, and I think it really does represent a lot better what I'm doing on the channel now, and what I want to continue doing with the channel, and what I want to do in the future with other off YouTube things. All sorts of different paper crafting. I've made cards, mini albums, bookmarks, stationery type products. I tried my hand at gift bag making recently. I'll probably try that again soon. And basically anything that I see online that I'm like, oh my god, I want to try that, I'm going to try it. Things that involve things like sewing, I won't do because I don't have a sewing machine. Same with things that involve like die cut machines and embossing. I don't have those items. They are not high on my list of things to get. I don't do a lot of stamping. I don't really have any tools for the fancy coloring. So in that regard, I think I'm a little different because I don't do the more standard stuff that a lot of paper crafters on YouTube do. So I hope that is interesting to people, especially people who maybe are in the same boat I am. They don't have a die cutting machine. They don't have a way to emboss things. It's interesting to try and think outside of the box. Like, this is how most people do it, but I don't have that tool, so how can I do it? So that's what I do here. I do different kinds of paper crafting and not with the common tools that a lot of YouTubers have. And it's an adventure sometimes. Like I mentioned earlier, I have an Instagram, Canadian Paper Junkie. I don't share things there as much as I would like. I tend to just share thumbnails for videos, and I hate that. I want to share other stuff. I also have a Facebook group. It's, again, linked below. It's Canadian Paper Junkie. It's a closed group. I've heard some people can't find it when they search it, so there is a link below. I guess technically since I was a child, if we're talking about any kind of crafting, you know, I've played with popsicle sticks and glue and paint and markers and pom-poms and whatever else, and there's always like artsy stuff to do at home. And then I had always wanted to get into scrapbooking from the time I was like in my probably late teens, if not even younger, but I have really no life, so it always felt like scrapbooking was not something that I could do until I had a life. And then in 2006, my first dog passed away. And that was very devastating because I had always been a dog person. I grew up with a cat. Even when I had a cat, I wanted a dog. Loved my cat, but I wanted a dog. And then we finally got the dog when I was 13. And we had him for 11 years, and his passing came on very suddenly. So that was very hard for me emotionally. And not long after he passed away, I was in a Blacks, which doesn't exist anymore. It was a camera slash photography development, that kind of thing, like photo development. And I happened to be in there, and there was this little 8x8 scrapbook that said Woof on it. It came with some stickers and dog-themed paper and stuff inside it, and I just gravitated to it. I wanted it. So I picked it up, and I got really into scrapbooking in late 2006 into 2007. And then in the fall of 2007, I started college for photography, and that began to take up all of my time, and I basically stopped scrapbooking about halfway through. And to this day, I have not completed the scrapbook album, and I feel really bad about it. But that's something I've struggled with. I see people talking about how I need to finish my album from 5 years ago, and I'm like, how do you do that? Like, I don't even know how to go back to that album because I don't remember what I was doing with it. So, do you have any ideas of how you get back into scrapbooking something you haven't touched in 12 years? Let me know, because I would like to finish it. So then I got out of paper crafting again because school started and I got really busy. And then because I couldn't figure out how to bring myself back into working on this scrapbook, it all just kind of fell by the wayside. And then, like I said, when I got into bullet journaling and the crafty side, the artsy side, creative side of bullet journaling, I started accumulating the bazillion supplies that I have now. So I got back into it 2 years ago. 2.5-ish years ago, like early 2017. And yeah, I have been crafting ever since. I'm not sure if that's about childhood. Like I said, as far as in recent, more adult years, it was the scrapbook about my dog. As far as like crafting in general, I mean, I went to brownie camp and girl guide camp, and we made various things, artwork. I remember tie-dyeing shirts was a big one that one year. We just made a bunch of different crafty stuff in camp, and I'm sure there was stuff. Spirograph, does that count? I loved Spirograph when I was a kid. I had a Barbie fashion thing with like with rubbings, like there was different outfit pieces and you stuck them together and then rubbed on, like did a rubbing of it. Remember that? Yeah, I've been doing crafty artsy stuff in one way or another since I was a very small child. Farthest back I can remember is probably Spirograph and the rubbings. More recently, as far as related to this channel, would be the scrapbooks from 2007. Again, paper crafting. I'd say of the paper crafts I have made in recent, with the last 6 months to a year, probably mini albums, but they are very labor intensive, at least the way I work. I love making them. I think they're awesome, but they are very labor intensive. So as far as something that is less labor intensive, probably cards. It's a good way to use up your smaller scraps and make a lot of products, so to speak. Like I've been trying to kill off 12x12 paper pad. I killed off a whole bunch of 6x6 paper a few months ago. And it's a really good way to kill stuff off, both the mini albums and cards. So I'd say those two are probably my favorite. Thus far, I could very well discover something else in the future. I would have to say it is this mini album. I will link to the video below where I shared this and the other mini album that I made. I called it a not so mini album because it's huge. But this one in particular I really love. I love the papers. One of my favorite colors is blue, and this is like a blue teal themed. There's some other colors in it too, but it's mostly blue and teal and whatnot, and I really like it. I think it's really pretty. And I like the way I embellished the fronts, and yes, I'm very proud of this. This and the other mini album that I made were the first two mini albums of this style that I ever made, so I am very proud of this. It's probably my favorite thing I've made to date. As of now, I'm currently hoarding them all. I haven't given them away. Oh no, I did make some Christmas cards, Christmas before last, and I gave those to people, but other than that, I have been hoarding everything I've ever made. I am planning to hopefully open an Etsy shop sooner than later. I'm kind of dragging my feet on it because it's very overwhelming to think about, but I am hoping to get my budding gear in the next couple days, weeks, etc. I am hoping to make an Etsy shop because I have made so many things and I've had multiple people tell me I should sell them, and why not? They're nice products and I'm proud of them, and I won't sell every single thing I've ever made because there's some stuff I'm not proud of, and those I would likely just hold on to, but as far as stuff that I am proud of and that I am like, why not try to sell it? So that is in the future, not sure when, but hopefully sooner than later. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I honestly don't know. Maybe sewing, I guess, as far as like paper crafting is concerned. I'm not really interested in like making clothes or anything, but you know, junk journals are a popular thing, and a lot of them seem to involve sewing. I've seen people using, you know, sewing as like flourishes on projects. So it seems pretty cool. So I guess maybe sewing related to paper crafting, but that would require a sewing machine, which I don't have. Same with like learning how to die cut and paper piece. Requires machines I don't have. So if I had the access to those things, and embossing too, because you can make some cool stuff with embossing, but again, I don't have access. So if I ever have access, I would like to learn those things. I create in my apartment. I live in a basement bachelor apartment, and I create in my living room / dining room / common area. I'm not going to show you my desk because it's a disaster, and not because of crafting, it's just a disaster. It's also sort of the catch-all place, which it shouldn't be, but it is. But I've shown my desk before. It's nothing special. It is literally an old wobbly kitchen table. It was the kitchen table that we had growing up when I was a kid, and my parents still had this in their basement when I moved into this apartment, and so I wanted to get a new desk. My old desk I'd had it since grade 6. My parents bought it for me when I went to grade 6, because back then, again, I'm old, back then that was when you started to get real homework, was middle school. We had the occasional bit of homework in elementary school, but the real, like, you're probably going to have homework almost every night started in grade 6. So they bought me a real desk, and that desk was falling apart. It was very small because I was 11 when I got it, and I wanted to get a new desk. So I didn't want to take the old desk with me, but I didn't get a chance. I couldn't find something that I wanted to purchase before I moved. So my parents gave me this wobbly little kitchen table, and I've been here almost 6 years. I still don't have a desk. I still use my wobbly kitchen table, but it's definitely bigger than my old desk, so that's something. Oh, and I have what this camera is currently mounted to is another wobbly table. It's a folding card table that I got at Target back when Target was in Canada. I miss you, Target. And that's also what I use as sort of a, like I craft here. This is where my computer is, and I craft here, but then I also craft here. Or I leave stuff here. Like right now the table is covered in some stickers, and like my ATG gun is sitting here. I have a box with a bunch of finished cards that I haven't shown the channel yet. So it's kind of like, it gives me a little extra space since the space here is very limited. I don't even know how to describe it. Basically, everybody's dream craft room, I guess. Lots and lots of storage space. Lots and lots and lots of storage space. I don't have a lot of storage space, which is one of the reasons my apartment is so very cluttered. My dream craft room would have like the, the wall-to-wall storage that a lot of the big craft rooms have, and a lot more working space, natural light. I don't have that. I really want to get one of those like long wraparound desks sort of thing. I have my pseudo homemade DIY wraparound desk now, where I got my wobbly kitchen table and then my wobbly folding table from Target. But I would love to get like a real legit long round like wraparound table. Just to have all that would be fantastic. That would be my dream, to have space to move and space to store stuff and good lighting for filming and enough room that I could do process videos, because I can't do that here. Basically, I want the storage. Like I said, I want the wall-to-wall storage. I want the cubes. I want the slots for the paper. I want, like, I've seen people who have islands that have storage in the island, and I don't even know exactly what it would look like. Just tons of storage, tons of natural lighting, tons of workspace and filming space and photography space. That would be glorious. I think the only real mishap I've had, which is recently actually, twice now, I have somehow managed to cut myself with a paper cutter. And I don't have a guillotine, I just have the slider kind. But twice now, I think it's both been on this thing. I've cut myself on this thing twice. Where I was lifting it up, and maybe it's because it's backwards to my Fiskars one. The Fiskars one opens this way, this one opens this way. And I was moving paper around, and I guess I inadvertently like stuck my finger on the blade. Twice now, while trying to move paper around, I have like slid my hand along the blade like an idiot and cut my fingers open twice. Not badly, basically like a glorified paper cut, but twice I've done that, twice. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have any. Maybe someday, maybe when I meet some of you YouTube ladies, we can craft together and something funny will happen. I don't know. Snacks, I don't really snack while I craft because I'm just worried I'm gonna get food on stuff, so I usually will take a break, have a snack, put the snack stuff away, wash my hands, go back to crafting. Drinks, if we're being perfectly honest, wine. I enjoy a glass of wine or two while crafting. I don't do it very often. I also don't want to be like intoxicated while I'm crafting, because then you make poor decisions. Although, depending on what you're working on or why you're working on it, that could be fun. Other than that, like my top two drinks that I drink on a regular basis at home are Coke Zero and water. Yes, all the time. Typically I'm watching YouTube, sometimes it's crafty videos, but I find if I put a crafty video on while I'm crafting, I'm not usually actually watching the video. I'm usually crafting, and I'll put a video on and I'm like, oh, I want to see how they did that, and then I don't actually see what they did because I'm working on stuff. So typically I will watch a crafting video, let's like a tutorial or a process video. Well, a lot of times it'll be while I'm in between stuff or while I'm taking a break to have a snack or whatever. But I'll watch like hauls. I watch a lot of true crime stuff on YouTube and Netflix and whatnot. I'll put something on that's more to listen to, like I'll put podcasts on or music. But as far as watching stuff, I watch stuff while I'm working by putting on stuff that I don't really need to be watching to pay attention, which a lot of times is things like true crime, because it's, at most it's a reenactment of what occurred and they're just talking about the evidence and whatever else. But those are pretty much what I watch. I don't really watch fiction while I'm crafting because I feel like fiction you have to pay attention. Anything I bought on pure impulse, probably. A lot of times I will look at stuff later and be like, why did I buy that? Like, I'm getting better at that, being more mindful of what I'm purchasing. But as far as like impulse buying, a lot of the cutesy stickers, especially from like Dollar Tree, because I didn't even know Dollar Tree was in Canada until last year. Last year or the year before? Maybe it was 2017. I had no idea Dollar Tree was in Canada until like I got into YouTube and paper crafting. So when I would go to Dollar Tree, I would buy all the things. Bought a lot of like cutesy animal stickers and stuff that don't fit my style I don't have anything to really use them on, and I'm naturally inclined to go for other like classier or more mature embellishments. So that kind of thing, you know, there's some stuff that I think if I buy it for a purpose, like I bought some of the new like unicorn and mermaid stickers that are at Dollarama, even though they're cutesy, because I have it in mind. I have a ton of unicorn stuff that I've been hoarding. I have a whole Irish container full of unicorn paper and embellishments, and mermaids too. So those are for a specific purpose. I know that I can use those because I have a bunch of stuff to use it with. The cutesy animals and stuff, I just grabbed it because they were cute, and I wasn't thinking of, am I going to use this? So that's probably my biggest regret, is just stuff that I just grabbed because that's pretty or that's cute, and I wasn't thinking of how will I use this product, and I do that a lot more now. Maybe my circle punches? Initially I didn't really see the appeal of punches. I was like, why would I want that? But now I have come to really appreciate having them, or my ATG gun, because before that I was going through dollar store glue runners like faster than most people go through underwear, and it was ridiculous, and I still go through the tape ridiculously fast. I wish I could find cheaper rolls or more rolls, like little bigger rolls that would fit in here, because there's a lot of space in here. You could get a lot bigger roll in there. I mean, this is a relatively new roll, but even when it's new, there's a lot of space. You could get bigger tape in there, like a bigger roll. But probably that too, because overall it has definitely been a good investment, and it's probably paid for itself several times over by now. That's a tough one. Like I said, I really like my ATG gun, but I also have found a lot of value in score tape with different sizes, which is just double-sided tape that you can get really skinny. I love using 1/8 inch tape. I now have a 1/8, 1/4, and 1 inch size tape in my stash. Probably, I guess I would need to pick score tape, even though I love my ATG gun, and the idea of not using it is very upsetting to me, because score tape comes in even skinnier than this, and it's easier to place when you're doing more delicate work, and it's stronger than the ATG tape usually is. And yeah, if I had to, I would just want all the different sizes and shapes of the strong double-sided tapes, like the score tape or the stuff that scrapbook.com sells. They have sheets of it and stuff like that. That would probably be the one I'd have to use. That is tough, because there's a number of companies that I really love. Oddly enough, I don't have a lot of products from them because I'm in Canada, and in Canada we have Michaels or we have nothing. I have brands that I love, but you can't get them here without ordering them. You can get them from like online scrapbook stores and whatnot. Again, I think I mentioned this before. Living in the Toronto area, there are no scrapbook stores near me. They're all up north, where rent is cheaper. So I have to order online, which means I gotta pay for shipping or follow a minimum order to get free shipping. And I always find that dangerous, because at least at Michael's I can look at the stuff in my cart and go, you don't need all this. Or, okay, you like this and you like this, which one do you like more? That's the one you're gonna buy. It's a lot harder to do that online, and it's a lot easier to buy more than you need online. All that rambling to say, it's kind of a tie. I'd say Echo Park, probably. Echo Park, I don't have very much. Most of the stuff I have from Echo Park is Halloween stuff. They have Cartabella, which is the same company, has a Halloween collection coming out this year that I'm going to cry if I don't get my hands on, even though I have no money, because it's gorgeous. It's like vintage, but it's also got these pops of cyan in it, or teal. To me, it's cyan. It's darker than teal, but this turquoisey color in there with the orange and the black. It looks so good. Well, it's so bad. So probably Echo Park / Cartabella, and a very close runner-up would be Doodlebug. I think. Again, only have limited supplies, and I know I said the cutesy not really my style, but Doodlebug is really cute, and I think that's the kind of cutesy that I like the coordinating stuff. It all comes together. Yeah. So Echo Park / Cartabella, number one. Very close second will be Doodlebug. Oh, there's a lot. Like I've mentioned many times now that Bourbon Creek Crafts has been a huge inspiration to me as far as killing paper pads and using up my stash, because that's basically become the theme of her channel. Is like once a month or so, she tries to kill off an entire 12x12 paper pad. She's just really inspired me as far as like the different products that she makes, and she just shows all these different ways how much you can get out of one like 48 sheet 12x12 paper pad. But then also like my all the crafty girls that I talk to and watch. I have a whole list on my YouTube channel of my fellow Canadian crafters. Stacey Stash is someone that I have become friends with outside of YouTube, so you should definitely go check her out. Who else? There's so many people. Just look at the list on my YouTube channel, guys. There's so many people that are great. But yeah, my number one inspiration in the last 6 months or so has been Bourbon Creek Crafts. And then RTS Scrapbooking is another one. Again, she's a scrapbooker, but her videos are very entertaining, and even with scrapbooking, she has great ideas for how to use up your stash and organize your stash and things like that. So I will link them below. I'll just make a list of people below. I watch a lot of non-crafters and follow a lot of non-crafters. As far as somebody who would be probably someone that this community would like, I don't know if you can say she's non-crafty. It's Cindy Guntran-Bolta, which I'm probably messing up her last name, Llama Letters. She does hand lettering and bullet journaling. I don't know if that still counts as crafting. She does some watercolor painting and stuff as well, but the primary focus of her channel and her social media is hand lettering and bullet journaling. But she also got a podcast that's great. It's called The Uncurated Life. It's about life, reality. You know, she talks to a lot of people who have like Etsy shops, or you know, they have a lot of Instagram followers or YouTube followers, and how they deal with like trying to be real on social media when there's so much pressure to only show the best parts of your life, that kind of thing. And so she's hilarious. She does swear a lot, which is right down my alley, but there you might be a fan. But she's hilarious. She's very talented hand letterer. She's gonna have a book coming out next year, which is awesome. She's great, but I don't know if she counts as non-crafty. Other than that, like I said, I watch a lot of true crime people. There's a guy that I've been watching. There's two different people. The main one is, he's called That Chapter. He doesn't just do true crime. He does like spooky internet mysteries, and like he debunks conspiracy theories. He's hilarious. And then through him, I found somebody else called Mr. Davis. He does similar videos. They aren't necessarily as funny. They're more like serious and solemn. He does have some funny bits though. He did a collab with That Chapter, and it was really funny. And that is it for my portion of the Call Me Crafty Al's 20 Crafty Questions tag. I got it out in one try! I apologize for how long this video probably is going to be when I'm done editing. If you would like to participate, I'm going to read off the instructions, that's why I'm looking away. If you would like to do a video response and answer these questions, make sure to include the following hashtags. Hashtag 20 Crafty Questions with Crafty Al. Hashtag Crafty Tag. Hashtag Crafty 2019. And yeah, please feel free to participate. I'm very looking forward to watching other people's videos, and hopefully people watch mine. Just to find new crafty YouTubers. I'm always trying to find new ones, and it's hard sometimes to know where to look or what to search for, so I'm excited to watch these other videos and find new people to follow. Hopefully some new people will want to follow me with my rambly self. So thank you very much to Call Me Crafty Al for hosting this tag and allowing me to participate. I've been wanting to do collabs, but I never know how to get them started. So if anybody's interested in collabing, let me know. This was fun. I like doing this kind of thing. Please check out the playlist. It will be linked below. I think if you click on the 20 Crafty Questions with Crafty Al tag, that will also take you to the playlist, because all the videos will be tagged with that, which is why if you are going to respond, please tag it with that so it will end up in the playlist so more people will see it. Check out the videos. I'm gonna go check out the videos. I'm excited to watch everybody's. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this rambly mess, as my face-to-face videos usually are. If you did enjoy it, please subscribe. It does help out the channel a lot. You can click the notification bell to be notified when our next uploaded video, because YouTube doesn't actually tell subscribers when their subscriptions upload a video, because that would make sense. So you have to also ask to be notified if you really want to know when a video comes through. I try to put a video up at least once a week. I do project shares. Like I said, I would love to do process videos, but I don't have a way to do that right now. I've been doing some crafty organization videos. I do monthly unboxings of the SCT sampler kit, which is a great crafting subscription you should look into. And yeah, please join us here. I'd love to get to know some more people. And check out, like I said, my Facebook group and my Instagram will be linked below. I hope to see you around. I hope you will check out the other videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!